Hey guys, welcome back. Emmanuel with EA Fitness 10. Today I am excited to bring you guys a whole new video. We have covered nutrition, a very basic introduction to how food works. We have covered active lifestyle in the previous video, which means that today we're going to cover what I think is our third pillar of long-term and functional health and fitness. Proper training. Okay, let me start off with this. There's not an absolute one way to train that is the right way. It varies depending on you, your lifestyle, your goals, what you want to accomplish, and those sorts of things. It really is a case-by-case scenario. It's a person-by-person thing, right? What proper training is to you might be different to what it is to me. However, I do think there are some things that are kind of standardized that we can all apply into our training that will help us benefit in the long run, right? And first of all, I already mentioned goals. Goals are super important. These are some of the things that you come up with before you even do training, before you even go on your health and fitness adventure, that helps you determine what it is that you want to accomplish. Why are you even doing this in the first place, right? It is your motivational fuel, your goals you want to reach from, and as you go along and you start to hit goals, you want to come up with new ones. Because we never want to stay in the same place, right? We always want to keep improving. Goals is super important. The second thing, time. Now, by time I mean, what is kind of your time frame? If you have a certain goal, how quickly do you want to get to that goal? Or are you really just looking to do a competition or something like that you have to train for in a certain period of time? Or is time really something that's not such an issue to you because you're really doing this just for life, just for the fun of it? However, there are still goals that maybe you want to hit as you go along. What is that time frame, right? Time is super important, and of course it ties in a lot with goals, as I already mentioned. And as we go along, you're going to see exactly kind of the things how these two kind of tie along, okay? So that's goals. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about some of the rep ranges that are out there so that you guys can have an idea how you might want to plan your workout. So, our rep ranges, right? Check it out, guys. So, rep ranges. 2 to 5 reps are our strength. Why is that? When we're exerting that force of the weight or whatever exercise it is for 2 to 5 reps, what we're doing is we're activating a lot more of the fast twitching muscle fibers that we have in our bodies for a short period of time, which means that they only use ATP and they have to react a lot quicker and be used a lot quicker than the others. So in essence, it helps you lift a really heavy load for just a small period of time or just a low amount of reps, and therefore we build up strength, okay? The next one, 8 to 10 reps is associated with what we call hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is just a scientific word for muscle growth. That's really all it is, muscle growth. So this is kind of the thing you see bodybuilders do, because obviously their goal is to hit a certain aesthetic. They want to have a bigger body with certain, weird look to their body, right? So their goal is a certain aesthetic for competition, and so they usually train to that 8 to 10 hypertrophy because their main goal is to build size. Okay. The next one, 10 to 15 reps. Usually 10 to 15 reps are associated with what people think will tone your body. However, I like to think of it as endurance. What happens is, as we start utilizing our carbohydrate fuels, our ATP, we then start to switch our muscles to respiration through oxygen use. And since we have to maintain the exercise for a longer period of time, we're making them build up that endurance, right? So 10 to 15 reps is endurance, okay? So now let me tell you guys a little bit about kind of the weight that you should be using for some of these. For your strength, as I mentioned, since we're only doing the exercise for a few reps or a short period of time, and we're really just looking to build up strength, we're going to be looking to use 85% to 90% of our 1 rep max of whatever exercise that may be. for hypertrophy, we're looking to do 70% to about 80% of our 1 rep max, right? Same thing of whatever exercise you do. We're holding it for a little bit longer period of time as strength, but not quite as long as endurance. And the goal is to just get the muscles to react to that time under tension in order to get growth, okay? And as far as endurance, for endurance, anywhere from 60% to 70% of our 1 rep max is the kind of weight we should be using for endurance reps. So let's say you do, 14 reps one set, and the next is 12, and the next is 13, or something like that. That is completely fine as long as you're keeping that weight constant. You should really not be decreasing, but once you start increasing as you build up more endurance, that's okay, because then maybe you can later translate it onto working on hypertrophy, or maybe you want to translate to working on strength, and that is totally fine. Okay, so I've covered a little bit of the basics, right? We want to think about our goals, we want to think about our time frame, and we want to understand what kind of rep ranges we want to utilize for different exercises. Now, as far as proper training goes, there's not exactly one thing that you should stick with, right? You should really be looking to mix your training around. Okay, let me take you guys through some examples. A bodybuilder, as I told you guys, will be on that 8 to 10 rep range. Their goal will be to build size. Okay, and typically their time frame has to do with some sort of competition, right? They want to prepare for a competition. So as far as bodybuilders go, maybe they will start training for whatever competition a year in advance, half a year in advance, right? And depending on what stage of that they are, let's say they are this whole 6 months out, they will be looking to really just build their muscle size. They might not be as toned or defined, but maybe as they get, a month out, a couple weeks out, you will see that their diet changed drastically. Well, not so much drastically, but maybe they just lowered their carb intake. So now that they're starting to go through this cut, and they will reach the certain aesthetic for a competition, right? So that's a bodybuilder. How about a powerlifter? A powerlifter will probably be doing those 2 to 5 reps, and really their goal is obviously to get as strong as possible and be able to lift as heavy weight as possible. And as far as powerlifters go, it's very similar to bodybuilders. Maybe they're preparing for competition. Okay, so if a powerlifter is looking to just build up a lot of strength, they're working on that 2 to 5 reps, and they're preparing for a competition similar to a bodybuilder, you can see that there are some similarities, but obviously some things are different depending on what their goals are, what their time frame is, and just overall what they want to accomplish, right? So what about someone like me, right? I keep preaching functionality and long-term health, right? Okay, so as far as for someone like me who's really just seeking functional long-term health, and I want to be able to get other people to do the same and feel healthy, be active, and feel good for the rest of their lives, what are some of the things that I'm going to be looking at, right? So this is for me personally, right? But maybe you can start to think about your own personal goals and what you want to accomplish, right? My goals will be to work on functionality. Okay. Athleticism. Okay. Endurance might be one. And strength. Okay. So someone like me, for what I want to be my life, I want to have functionality. I want to have athleticism. I want to have a solid endurance. I want to have good strength. Those are really just my goals. My goal is not so much the aesthetic. But if you guys remember in my introduction to what my philosophy of training is, I believe that when I keep all these things constant for a long period of time, I'm eventually going to reach an aesthetic that is good. I'm going to look good in my clothes. I'm going to look good without my clothes, right? And that's what I want for people. I want for people to see that it's not just about taking a shortcut to whatever the aesthetic they might be trying to reach, right? Sometimes when other people try to sell you shortcuts to whatever, or there's the magic diet pill, or there's this or that or the other, they might be selling you short on the fact that that's not going to last for very long because you adapted your body to having whatever that might be. So when you don't use it anymore, you're going to lose it. So maybe sometimes some of these diets, right, have you cutting really low on carbohydrates or this or that or the other and relying on only one source of fuel. But what happens when you don't want to be on that any longer? Well, you're going to get right back to where you was, okay? Or maybe your lifestyle. Maybe your lifestyle isn't very active. Maybe that's something you need to start working on, okay? That's something to consider. It's very simple. You can just take your dog out for a walk, and many other examples that we mentioned in the last video. And as well as the proper training, right? So as far as me, those are my goals. So what is my time, right? So as far as my time, well, I want to have lifelong health. I want this to be a thing that I enjoy doing forever. I really do. And I really hope that you guys get motivated to do the same thing for yourselves as well. However, I will say that, some of these goals, maybe there are smaller goals that I want to hit, by the time summer rolls around, by June I want to be doing a handstand or something like that. So maybe that's my athleticism. Not so much functionality because there's no really functional need for a handstand, but I think it's a cool thing to do. I think it would be fun, right? So as you can see, my goals and my time tie in, and they're smaller frames that I definitely take into account. However, the goal overall is for that long-term health. So, what does my week kind of look like, right? I'm gonna take you guys now to what my week might look like, right? Monday is legs, for sure. I think legs is one of those, functional areas. I mean, our legs are meant to withstand our weight, and they can even withstand more weight when we carry stuff. So I think it's important to devote a good period of time for our legs. Okay, so Monday I focus on legs only, and that's it. Tuesday is what I call a skills day. If you guys have been following me enough on Instagram or any of my social media, you know that a skills day is one of those days where you just go and not do something that you would regularly do to kind of get the brain going too, right? We want to do long-term health and we want it to be fun. So why not go do something that maybe will make you have a laugh? Maybe it's not something you have to do so seriously. Go try new things. Maybe it's a Zumba class, maybe it's a dance class, maybe, I don't know, yoga, something like that, right? What would you like to be on your skills day? For me personally, again, if you've been following me on my social media, you remember I talk about the TRX a lot. It was my TRX Tuesdays and the TRX 52 series. So I used to do that. Or maybe I can just do calisthenics, which is body weight workouts, right? Maybe that's your push-ups, your pull-ups, air squats, stuff like that, right? On my Wednesday, I do chest and triceps, right? I go in there, it's a split, I do my chest, I do my triceps, and that's it. On Thursday, might be my back and arms, right? So how do I supplement my Wednesday, which I did a ton of pushing exercises, right? Well, now I go on Thursday and I do more of pulling exercises, right? To kind of even out the body so that, we're not just doing one thing, but we're doing plenty. On Friday, it is yet another skills day. But here, I might mix it up and I might just go ahead and do, maybe CrossFit kind of exercises, power cleans, snatches, stuff like that. Or I might combine it with some calisthenics again. And usually on Fridays, I actually like to work a lot of explosive kind of stuff. So, explosive exercises. Okay. On Saturday, I go and I hit my shoulders. So, much like on Mondays that I do my legs, on Saturday I go and I think the shoulders are a very important area to take care of because they help us with a lot of stuff. They connect our hands to our body, our arms to our body. So it's super important to take care of it as well and make them strong and healthy, right? So I devote a whole day to them too. And then on Sunday, guess what? It is another skills day. On this day, maybe I'll take it down a notch so that I can start the week strong again. So maybe I'll just do a quick cardio session. Maybe I will go and do that yoga. But it's kind of up to me or up to you, right? When you're thinking about how maybe you want to lay out your week, do fun stuff. Enjoy what you do, right? When you enjoy it, you're likely to keep up with it for a long period of time. However, as you can see here, these are all, training kind of things, right? But where is my cardio, right? So maybe on Wednesdays, I will go and do a high intensity interval training session, a HIIT. So that is just, going to a stadium and doing stairs, go up really fast, but rest on your way down, right? High intensity intervals, a period of high intensity exercise followed by a period of rest. Very simple. Okay. Maybe on Thursday, I work on agility or plyometrics. Agility is doing stuff on my speed ladder, right? So little turns that kind of get the neurons working too. So I'm building more pathways, and the speed ladder is actually good for anti-Alzheimer's. So it's a fun thing to do, and it's much more fun than going on the Stairmaster and just being on there for 10-20 minutes. That's not fun. I'd rather just do 8 different exercises quickly on the thing and get out of the gym, right? And then plyometrics can supplement maybe, my leg day or my, CrossFit day, explosive exercises, because plyometrics are exercises that go from a neutral motion to explosive jumping and stuff like that. So it helps work those fast twitching muscle fibers as well, which are beneficial to us. That's what we want to build. Our fast twitch muscle fibers are the ones that can grow bigger and stronger. So I like to do stuff like that, and it's fun. And then remember I said maybe on Sunday I go and do a cardio session. So within the week I do tons of different kinds of training styles, and I supplement them with different kinds of cardio. So it all kind of comes into one giant circle per se, but it's fun for me. I enjoy doing this, and maybe you can think of a way for you that maybe you'll enjoy doing it too. Okay? Now, before I finish up here, I want to touch on one last thing that is super important for all this to work, okay? Okay, so you can see that I have a pretty, I guess, kind of hectic schedule, and soon enough I'll be going back to classes, and soon enough I'll start my journey as a personal trainer. So how am I gonna do all this and then, keep up with life things, right? One huge important factor to proper training is recovery. I really just can't stress it enough. Recovery is super important. Exercise, at least, with these kinds of things, especially weightlifting, is literally putting a lot of stress on your body. And what happens inside of your body is that your muscle fibers start getting all these little tears, the micro tears. And so your body is super awesome because what it does is that it fixes it, right? It creates new muscle fibers, which is what gives us that muscularity and get us that growth and all that good stuff. And it allows us to be ready to lift heavy stuff again, and helps us become stronger and healthier, right? So if I'm doing all this kind of stuff, for example, I'm doing this and then I'm doing cardio, recovery is super important. Maybe I do my workout early in the morning at like 8, finish by 9:30, and then the rest of the day I go and run my errands, I stay active, and I make sure I eat well, and maybe at 8:30 p.m. I go and I do the cardio after I've got enough recovery. Recovery is super important, right? And when you get a lot of that recovery? In your sleep, okay? So if you generally want to have a long-term healthy, functional body self, you want to make sure you're getting your sleep, okay? I believe that getting anywhere from 8 to 9 hours is a target that we should all be aiming to do. Me personally, when I do 8, I feel okay. I can still take on the day. When I do 9, maybe I'm a little slower, but I can always, get going. It's all good. But usually for me personally, when I hit that 8.5 hours of sleep, I feel great. I feel ready to take on the day, right? So find for yourself what's a good sleeping schedule and stick to it, because recovery is very important. Okay. Another time that we might overlook recovery is on weekends. Why? Some people might be going out with friends to have a drink or go party and whatnot. Now, overall we want long-term functional health, right? So I'm not opposed to doing those things, but just make sure that you do it, moderately. You do it on important occasions, okay? So save the party. Save the party for your important occasions. Maybe it's a birthday. Maybe it's your birthday, right? Maybe someone just got a big promotion and the guys want to go out to celebrate. That's okay. Go and do it. Maybe you had a glass of wine on a Friday and then your friend wants to go out get a couple drinks on Saturday. Fair enough. Just don't let it happen too much, right? Because we want to get the recovery. When you drink alcohol, when you go partying, when you don't get enough sleep, you inhibit your body from recovering from those heavy exercises, and you're not able to perform in the next day. So, your whole weekend is devoted to that. Sunday, you're not getting enough rest either. So come Monday, you're setting yourself up to start the week on a bad note. And if you set the tone poorly on a Monday, the rest of your week is going to be bad. So make sure you're aware of these things, right? Recovery is super important. And again, guys, this is just a very kind of basic introduction to training. It is something that you can tailor to your needs, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, your goals, the time, your training schedule, and make sure you're getting your recovery, okay? So guys, again, I wanted to tell you guys that if you want to make your training more efficient, get yourselves an interval band. These things are awesome. As you can see, I've been timing myself to make sure I'm not boring you to death. So go get one. I will have a link in the bio below so you can get one with a discount code, my personal code, so you guys can use. And if you're looking to get some new gear, maybe that will be your motivation to get you in all this. Okay, I will have a link down there for this awesome company out of England, VXX Gymwear. It is awesome. I love it. The quality is incredible. Okay, so again, link and code down below. And finally, guys, if you're looking for training, maybe for some advice, something like that, I will leave that below. I am starting at a chiropractor's office, my chiropractor, in Brookhaven, called Complete Spine Solutions. They are awesome. We care about your health. We care about your health. So I will leave that information down below. As for now, I will say good night. But one last tip, guys. In order for all of this to work, we gotta make sure we are consistent. Okay? Consistency is super important. When we're consistent with our nutrition, when we're consistent with our active lifestyle, when we're consistent in having a proper training, the results will start coming. You will start feeling better. You will start getting healthier, and you will start living better. Okay? So, thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one.